All right, pregame thoughts, Padres and the Braves. The final game before the All-Star break. It's going to be another tough pitching matchup for the Padres. Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. No Luis Arraez. And as I talked about yesterday, Annie Halburn tweeted the other day, I think it was before yesterday's game, about Luis Arraez and how he has been dealing with the jammed thumb. And that has affected everything, swinging, throwing, everything. And I'm an advocate for having Arraez just go on the IL because it's during this All-Star break here. And if he goes on the IL, he can miss a couple of series, not 3 series, not all 3 series coming out of the All-Star break. He would miss 2, right? If he went on the IL today because he's not in the lineup, they can survive 1 game without Luis Arraez. But if they're not going to put him on the IL today, I don't understand why he's not in the lineup today. Because it's your last game before the All-Star break. You want him to rest, you can have him rest during the All-Star break. I know that he's an All-Star, so he's going to be going to Arlington, and there's the home run derby, and there's activity there. You're not really resting because you're moving all the time. But I mean, if you have to have that tough conversation, I was thinking about this morning. He is finally having his family being able to come to the All-Star game with the visas that they got. So that's where I kind of changed my mind about him not playing in the All-Star game. Because I initially was like, then don't have him play. Luis, I know you know how to hit. Don't swing a bat for these 4 days off. Let's try to heal this. Let's try to make this better. If it doesn't, then you can go back to playing because clearly it's not going to get better. So you just have to play through it. But I'd rather him rest a little bit here and just see if he can get that more healthy and so that he can not be affected at the plate like he is right now. I know he had a good day yesterday, but that's just what he's saying is that, yeah, it's affecting him. But this is, more personal, it seems like, this All-Star game for him. So I do understand if the Padres and Luis Arraez is going to be like, hey, I want to play in this thing, at least getting that bat. I do understand that. But if I'm looking at it from just I guess, GM perspective and not the human being perspective, which I know it's impossible to do, it would just make more sense for me, especially if he's not playing today, then put him on the IL today. So that's one less game that he has to miss on the backside of it when they're back from the All-Star break. He could come back for, I don't know if that would be the last game of the Nats series or the first game of the Baltimore series, but he could come back a day earlier. Um, you know, in this lineup today against Chris Sale obviously is a tough lefty, and he would be a candidate to start the All-Star game if he wasn't pitching today. Obviously, him pitching today knocks him out of that. Padres lineup, Profar's leading off in left, Solano's DHing, hitting second, interesting. Manny's at third, batting third. Then Bogarts, Cronenworth, Kim, Merrill, Higashioka. And then Bryce Johnson is in right field, batting ninth. You have Donovan Solano DHing, so there's the right matchup there, right on left. And would I rather have Bryce Johnson or would I rather have Tyler Wade in the lineup? I know they're playing matchups right on left, but I don't know. I like what I'm seeing out of Tyler Wade. It's nothing really against Bryce Johnson. I'd rather see Tyler Wade in there against any pitcher really right now. And he can play the outfield. He's got the speed. Bryce Johnson has it too. Arraez just isn't in the lineup. Like I said earlier, might as well put him on the 10-day then. If it's being affected, take the break. Use this to your advantage. The Padres can survive. As I said last night, the Padres can't survive without Luis Arraez for a couple of series. If they miss the postseason, I don't think I'm going to be sitting here blaming it on, the Padres put Luis Arraez on the IL when he could play through it for those couple of series. No, I'm going to point to the games that they should have won earlier in the season or that they should have won, at some point later this season, because that happens to every team in baseball. And I think we'll point to like the longer term injuries, Tatis, Bogarts was out for a while, Musgrove and Darvish being out. I think we're going to point to that more than if Luis Arraez misses a couple of series. So again, if they don't put him on the IL, I hope that this thing can get better. But, like, if they put him on the IL, it's one of those where at least they tried. If the thumb issue is still there and it's the same without swinging a bat for those, that week and a half, whatever. I know that's not realistic because he's going to the All-Star game, but, like, if they try it and it doesn't work, okay, they tried it, and you can put him back in there and he'll play through it. But I don't want the Padres to not try it, and then it gets worse, and then you get Arraez on the IL because he can't play through it because it gets worse. The tape that they're putting on it, I guess that's not really helping. I'm just trying to look at this long term, look out for Luis and the Padres long term because we want Luis Arraez in the lineup long term. We don't want him in there for a couple of weeks here, and then he hurts it more, and then he's out long term, like I said. So we'll see. Randy Vasquez on the mound against Chris Sale. This is one of those where I think based on the pitching matchup, the Braves are going to win this game, but it's baseball. Crazy things have happened. So this might come down to the bullpens. It's the last day before the All-Star break, so maybe Randy Vasquez has that short leash and the Padres go to the bullpen early if they feel like this game might get a little bit out of hand because they've got the 4 days off after. Should be an interesting one. I hope that Chris Sale is not dominant in this outing.